Welcome to the Natural Genius podcast. We're here to help you tap into your natural genius. Let's go. April is a strong woman who has always branded herself well and used her knowledge wisely from my point of view. She's good fun, very creative. You'll hear that we haven't seen each other for a good long while, so I'm looking forward to hearing what she's created, learnt, and what she's doing now. Enjoy hearing from April. April, welcome to the Natural Genius podcast. It is a real pleasure to catch up again after too long between a lunch and now looking at each other across the online space.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. It's exciting to see you again. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. Hey, I've got to ask about the backdrop. You've got a combination of lovely books, and I can see a gin bottle up there, and I can see some paintbrushes. It's very reflective, I think, of past, present, and maybe future.
Yeah, well, I mean, so normally my desk is upstairs, but it's in a little nook, and behind me is the stairs up to my son's room. So that's boring. So I moved to the computer down here, which is where I used to sit during COVID anyway. So I'm sort of used to having this backdrop. But yeah, there's a pile of NGV magazines there, and
nice.
And I do paint from here sometimes as well. So yeah.
Pre the pandemic, I had a membership for the National Gallery, and it was so fabulous. It's such a great thing to do, to have those different sites in Melbourne as the bases. We used to come and go. I'd take my nephew in. Sometimes we'd just go in there and have a hot chocolate and be surrounded by art. It was fabulous.
Yeah, well, there's so much you can see for free all the time. And, you know, when you have visitors from Sydney as well, you know, often it's a good place to go. So I've had a membership as well for many years. Yeah.
Oh, and I love how you can spot similar people when you go into the lounges in there as well. Tell me about art, April, so we can talk about your corporate career as well. Have you always loved art? And tell me what you love about your own.
So I've always been artistic. I did art in school, but at the end of year 10, when you have to choose the senior subjects, there was a clash between science and art, and you know, I'm a bit both brained in that regard, and so I had to unfortunately let one go at that school stage, and I went with science, and I did the occasional art workshop on the weekend. I grew up in a creative family. My mum is a brush letterist, like sign writing, and my dad ran the screen printing side of the business, so there was a family business that was, you know, retail sign production. So I grew up amongst that, and then after some time working in music retail, I got into computers tech, and I started doing tech support, and that kind of began a 20+ year career in technical operations, that sort of thing. So it felt like a bit of a sort of a sliding doors decision to go one way rather than the other. Since 2016, I had another crack at trying to get arts into my life, and I made another attempt at mature age uni and at Melbourne Uni, and I was doing some fine arts subjects, and
I love your self-effacing giggle there, April.
Yeah, I mean, it was my
third another attempt.
Yeah, it was my third attempt at uni. So I reached a point in time where I kind of decided I was done with essays, and I really just liked the fine arts things. So I found a teacher in Brunswick, an artist, Jackie Stockdale, and she ran casual classes. And that's kind of the beginning of me becoming more and more towards the art.
When last we caught up, I remember there was still a flavour of knowledge management in your work, and then you went into startups. My guess is that you would probably be able to do many different aspects of business. Through Tractor Ventures, you probably jumped in and helped in different capacities at different times. Tell me more about that.
I think it's my background in customer support and operations that kind of gave me an interest in sort of the problem solving that comes with continuous improvement, like working with the constraints of a situation to make it a bit better. And, you know, I did that in my help desk career with the knowledge base, and I would just take ownership of the knowledge base and trying to make it better. And that's kind of what got me into knowledge management. So I spent 10 or so years accidentally consulting in knowledge management. I didn't mean to, but I had a short stint as a freelance copywriter, and at the time, Matt, my now ex-husband, was encouraging me to come up with a product. I need a product. So I was like, well, what? I don't know. And at the time I was listening to Copy Blogger and Pro Blogger, reading their blogs. Yeah. So I thought, maybe I can write an ebook on how to create a knowledge base. And so that's what I did. And that kind of launched my career as Knowledge Bird, an independent knowledge management consultant. And I turned that into a presentation. I went around the world delivering this presentation on how to create a knowledge base. I was still doing Knowledge Bird when Matt and I decided to launch Tractor Ventures. And initially I was sort of doing mostly Knowledge Bird, and I was helping our portfolio companies in Tractor with their workflow improvements, things like that. So I was kind of advising. Then our team started getting bigger, and I thought, well, I think maybe I'll just shift my expertise in-house. And I turned off Knowledge Bird and I focused on Tractor and became full-time Tractor, and then was broadly operational across the business and kind of COO-y. I would step in and take up things that needed a bit more dedication. I ended up taking on the collections function. Tractor Ventures, for anyone that doesn't know, it's a non-bank lender. We had borrowers that sometimes might be slow, or for some reason something has gone wrong with their loan repayments, and so I was running that, which it's hard work. And eventually I just kind of got a bit tired, because I was really sort of all in on Tractor and pretty much neglecting the art side of things. And, I was mid-40s and the kids were older, and I don't know, I just started getting itchy for getting the more creativity back in my life. So I wound back my involvement in Tractor. I was on the board last year as a non-exec and just stepped away from that at the end of last year. So kind of the decks are clear and I'm sort of ready to reboot whatever the new phase is.
Tell me, is the new phase being able to have a lot of canvases and a lot of paint?
Started a diploma in visual arts. I'm it's a 2-year diploma and I'm in the second year, so I'll be finished. Right. I'll be graduating at the end of this year. I really became intentional that, okay, some kind of creative career is coming next, and I'm just now going through some rebranding and will go out with a clear vision, because the past 2 years has been very transitional and murky, ambiguous. I didn't know where I was going, and I just knew that art was going to be part of it, but I kept thinking I had to go back to the old stuff and just being stuck between two worlds in a way in my head, and I just was unclear, but it's much clearer now. With the
sort of spare work time or whatever we call it these days, how did you decide to focus on your creative?
Yeah, when I left Tractor, I left the full-time job part of it, I did struggle to know what even were my skills, because when you're in a co-founding situation, you've generally not done that job before. I've worked in IT operations in finance, so I haven't worked in finance. I'm not an accountant, I'm not a lawyer, but I found myself in this C-level operational role, having to understand contracts and talk to the lawyers and project manage due diligence with upstream funders and things like this. And you kind of get through it, but it's for me it was just quite an overwhelming experience.
Constantly, and I kind of challenging.
Very challenging, and I pushed it a long way further than probably I should have. I did it for longer than I wanted to. I think when you're in startups, you're always feeling incompetent, or most people. I mean, well, maybe not most people, some of the people, but you're always feeling like you don't know everything. And a lot of the founders out there who are those natural sort of entrepreneurial types, they don't care about that. That's exciting and energizing for them, but not for me. I'm an operational, I like to have an idea of where we're heading so that then I can get there. But when it's all a mystery, I've got no idea, and it's very hard. So it just doesn't suit my personality type.
Enough, she cried.
Yeah, so eventually I kind of ran out of steam. This diploma opportunity came along at the right time, and it felt a bit like an escape hatch had opened up. I got accepted into this diploma, and it was like, okay, that's the sign.
Yes.
Yeah. So look, when I left Tractor, I really felt like I didn't know what I was really good at. I didn't know even what I really wanted to do. So I invested in finding that out. I got a career coach and spent some time with her, and she really helped me objectively understand what my range of skills was, because I take things fairly literally. And when somebody says, what are your achievements? I'm like, well, I got an award once for writing a white paper. That's the only achievement. No. Lisa was like, no, just, what have you learnt in all the different jobs you've had?
Sorry to interrupt, but you are so endearing how self-effacing you are. Oh, I don't know. I got an award for a white paper. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, I can write a white paper.
But also, I'm hearing chief of staff. I'm hearing special projects. I'm hearing like similar to me, and that you've just jumped in and just done the stuff that helps companies to grow. I'm sorry that there was a significant discomfort for an extended amount of time.
And it was tough on it was tough on the co-founding team, because they're obviously getting on with things and sort of wanting me to be able to have the confidence to just keep going and delivering whatever ambiguous thing it was meant to be delivered. But yeah, without having that model to look at for me, I couldn't deliver from nothing. Like, I'm a responder, so I have to have something to respond to.
There's a model that I've done called human design, and in that it really says that I'm a responder and generator. And the friend who debriefed me and others that have talked to me about it since, they just laugh because they look at my LinkedIn and all these things that I've done. The responder aspect is not necessarily on other personality profiling tools or business tools or people tools. It's a good one to recognise that you enjoy responding to things.
It's the human design was my, that's the last thing I've done to really get an understanding of who and what I am in terms of professional trajectory. After getting a sense of, okay, a reframing around what are my skills actually, and then I needed to go and figure out, okay, well, what am I doing with my creative business? I feel like I need to have my own business that's art direction or something like this, and I needed someone to help me imagine what that is. Like, I just kind of did this word salad to this person, Lauren, and she said, yeah, I totally get it. She's got an agency background, so she could understand where I was coming from. So she's worked with me as well on the creative side of things and getting me comfortable with, I don't need to be a split personality.
Yes, I love this.
And that's what I've struggled with, is like I've tried to be this split personality, and the human design element of it that I did most recently, it shows me what that through line is through all of that. And you will obviously, with your career path, look back, see something like that too. And for me, it is that continuous improvement that has come through everything, and even in art. So now I'm finding myself, after having done the first year of my diploma, that what I love the most is the creative strategy. Now, I would never have called myself a strategist, but when we're given a concept, and it's a word, and you have to come up with some creative project that's related to this word, that's the exciting thing for me. I love that. So, and I didn't expect that. So I'm really excited about the potential of maybe having a business that's freelance art direction for the people that kind of have they have an idea, but they can't necessarily execute creatively on making it real. But that's the bit I like, is helping them flesh that idea out and make it real. So,
and possibly creating the structure that you didn't have.
Yes.
To go back to something that you just said, not wanting to project a split personality, or being careful that you wanted to represent yourself holistically, I guess.
Yeah.
I hear that so often, Aprill, partly because when you and I met years ago, I probably would have still been doing social media strategy and social media leadership work.
Yeah, yeah.
And I first got into social media to help individuals express themselves. And then I ended up, because it was really early, I ended up by doing social media strategy and advisory around digital. I have always said to people, present your whole self, because eventually you're going to have this avatar, or you're going to have this three-dimensional website or whatever you want to say that's going to be representing Aprill. These days, I'm still amazed that I'm encouraging people to bring their whole self. And sometimes it's people who are doing like healing stuff in their after hours, and they're doing corporate stuff during hours, or there's some sort of way that they sort of feel a little bit split. And I love 2026 for the fact that we do feel like the differentiation of the individual is important, to be able to craft words, which I'm pleased that you've got people that can help with that, like craft words so that you can represent yourself holistically.
It's still sort of evolving. So, you know, I went to the mentor walks this morning in at the Tan. Whenever I'm around those sorts of people who are the corporate types, you know, oh yeah, and so what do you do? And I default to that co-founder of a fintech, non-exec director and advisor, and I default to that stuff rather than leading with the artist and art direction. And so I'm still kind of trying to work through that. It'll come as I get my new branding and start hitting the ground running properly. So it'll get better, but it does take a long time after you leave corporate life, or you know, whatever the version of corporate life is, and do a total pivot. It is hard to just straight away go into the new thing.
Well done. Does it feel like it takes courage?
I do think it takes courage when you're uncomfortable with ambiguity. Like, I am uncomfortable with ambiguity and I don't love it. I like when there's some structure. Like, I don't like all of it. I like to come up with things. I like to come up with the how, but it's nice to have the what. And you don't have that when you leave something to go into something else, because you're not quite sure what the something else is going to look like yet. Yeah.
And what would the perfect project or perfect client kind of around the creative direction or art direction be, do you think? Or is that still forming?
I think it's still forming, but I like the idea of having a client brief, and so I'm thinking more of the organisations or the public institution stuff. Yeah, that could be fun. So that's where I'm sort of leading in my thinking at the moment. Yeah.
And still commissioned works as well, like still being able to do oil or acrylic that you do.
Yeah, so I do acrylics and oils, and I've done pet portraits and a couple of other things from time to time, and I am keen to do more commissions for just art lovers. So when I was a teenager, I worked in family business for a while, and in the screen printing as a production assistant, I suppose you could say, and this was the early 90s, 92, 91, 92. And my dad had a factory space in Annandale, downstairs from this guy who's a potter. And Warren is like 80 something now, but he's still making pottery, and it's amazing. And so I was up in Sydney a couple of months ago because we had a bit of a reunion with the old work team, and we went and refreshed the mural we had on the doors to the old factory space. Like, it's a big brush with brush marks all on this double door, timber door, in this factory in this lane in Annandale. And so we spent some time with Warren, like reminiscing, and upstairs where he lives, it's such a bohemian looking environment, and he's made all these tiles that look like sky. It looks like clouds. And he's made these tiles, and the way that he's kind of got the blue glaze for the sky, and then blown across the surface with the slip to make it look like clouds. I just saw, and he's got them set up there like an archway. It looks like you're sitting looking out, even though you're in the inner city there, looking out at the ocean and the sky.
Oh, the ocean as well.
Yeah. So that was really, I don't know, I was just really inspired by that.
Oh my God, how beautiful. And also how lovely to kind of have that link with your past as well.
Yeah, so that was really nice. I didn't expect to come away with that bit of vision that day. So yeah, that's something that just happened recently. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And what about your family, Aprill? Like, did you have lovely connections with grandparents or auntie or uncle?
Well, I'm an only child, and my dad died in 2016, so that's been 10 years now. My mum lives in Sydney and she's very active, 76 or something. She's her local Rotary Club president. And so she's still very much out there. And in fact, today I think she took her entry into the Archibald Prize. So
what?
So she submitted into the Archibald, and I don't know what the process is. She'll find out.
Well done from me. Would you ever do it, Aprill?
Yes. Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it, but this was on her bucket list to put a submission in. So today was delivery day, I think. So yeah.
Oh, that is stunning. What a great achievement. And do you have any idea which Australian individual you might do for the Archibald?
I've had a few ideas over the years, and mainly because of I've got direct connections to them, so not necessarily one-on-one, but through somebody. So I did think yesterday that I'm a degree away from Zan Rowe. So I know Zan Rowe's brother. So there's an opportunity.
Perhaps it's the second time I'm saying it. You are so endearing. I love hearing your giggle. Great, do that. It sounds like there might be others that you may consider as well.
Yeah, I did have a period might have been 5 years ago, where I was I used to go to the same gym as Jill Stark, who is she's an author and a journalist, and we knew each other through the gym. And Amy Gray she's another writer. And for a while I kind of felt like taking their Instagram selfies and recreating those as paintings. So it is something that still sits in the back of my mind, but you have to, when you enter the Archibald, you have to have them sit. Yeah, so I don't know that I'll pursue that one, but it did cross my mind a few years ago.
I had this conversation with a friend of a friend, Christian, that's about to be one of the episodes that we're about to release, and he was talking about his career transition. And I said, I'm going to have you back on so that you can tell us what you've transitioned to. I'm so curious as to what art and creative direction you're going to do. You've got so much to be proud of with so many ripple effects that you've created in life. Everything you're talking about, it just sounds like this next stage is going to be a success.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, well, I feel like, the kids one kid has moved out. He's living in the UK, working over there at the moment. And the other one is nearly 19. So,
oh my God.
They
were little teenagers.
Yeah, they were little
I saw them
when
in
you
an
knew
event.
about them. Yeah, so I've had this chance to really examine and understand what I want, because you can lose your way and it can be hard to know what you even enjoy doing in your spare time when you've suddenly got some spare time. So,
and do you think that's through business, or do you think it's more so having a family, or a bit of both?
I think through parenting you sort of naturally can put yourself last, and so you sort of don't really give yourself the time to do things that are on your terms. I think also if you're in the wrong marriage, that you each of you change in ways you don't you never meant to, and so you can lose your way that way. It can take a lot to come back.
And again, tips for the transition. So you said that the career coach and maybe a personal branding coach from what you described before. Any other aspects that really helped, or any other processes or practices that could help others?
Oh, so it's going to sound super woo, but I downloaded my birth chart, and I also when I did the career coach session, she had me do the Berkman profile.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my Berkman profile and I had the birth chart, and so I uploaded them both to Claude AI.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started asking questions of Claude, given it had this preloaded information about, well, what kind of careers suit my personality type and profile and all of this. And when I got the human design report, I uploaded that. And so Claude has been amazing for me to just understand myself. It's been really great. So it's a little bit woo and a bit, of just basic data, having the machine sort of, synthesize the data and represent it to me in a way that goes, oh yeah, I can see that. So that's been amazing, so good.
And do you pop that into the settings of Claude as well to be able to say, give me answers in line with these profiles?
Yeah, so I've created a project called Me, Myself and I, and it's all in there. And so it's really the self-discovery project. And that kind of whenever there's stuff that comes out of there, I can go into another project that's about art career or some portfolio career or something, and so it remembers the things that are relevant.
I've got so many people that have, it's like their operating system. How do they take their way of operating in life to the next level by using Claude or different agents? I did a little hack this week that was, there was a certain aspect of my character I want to grow into, and I was going to put that into the setting, return results with respect to this character trait, especially with a knowledge management background and startup background and tech background. How do you manage your own personal data privacy around that?
I'm not super worried about my data privacy. I'm kind of out there already as an artist on social media. I've been on social media forever anyway, so I'm not precious about who knows what.
I've been on social media forever. Me too. I haven't said it that way, but probably I have. MySpace, anyone?
Literally forever. So I'm not that worried about it. And I've had other people I've got into arguments with Gen Zers about AI because they're naturally worried about their careers. They're at the start of their careers and nobody really knows what AI is going to do to that. And so they were sort of fighting the good fight. But I'm pro AI from my perspective, even as an artist, because for me, it really unlocks my ability to think more deeply and articulate more clearly my intention as an artist. That's invaluable. So I'm a big fan. And my view is that I've been putting material out on the net for years and years, and people have had artwork stolen, reproduced on Temu before AI came along. So, I mean, it's always going to be a problem, and we're all getting to know the AI slop. So we all know what bad looks like from AI at the moment. I mean, it's going to be changing for a long time. So yeah, I think it's just being sort of more, it's engaging more with how you use it rather than just using it blindly.
Yeah, the two words refinement and discernment are coming up a lot.
Yeah.
And you would completely understand from experience that it's also refining what you're putting in and being discerning about what you want out. No matter how many extra people it feels like you've got, your team of copywriters and your team of operations experts that you have access to, it's also being able to be refined around what you need.
Yeah, and I use it for research. You're right, you do get a lot back. We've all got our own way of synthesizing and representing it, and I think that's the fun part for me. I mean, I like making a slide deck. But all the research has already been done.
A refined slide deck. You just reminded me, oftentimes these days, if I keep on getting slot or not what I'm after for 3 goes, I'll go back in the agent to the top where I was still getting quality, and I'll edit that prompt. As you were talking about projects or clones, I'm finding that sort of stuff is helping, and so that I can kind of keep some source documents in there, and then it can refer back to formats or to examples. One of the things, April, that I'm really enjoying about these podcast episodes is the multidimensionality of humans. You and I can talk about art, we can talk about creative direction, we can talk about family, ancestors, sky and water in tiles, and then be talking about AI agents. We are so lucky to all know each other. It's also such a brilliant time. I love that you've got this positive attitude towards AI. I've seen some brilliant stuff in the visual arts. There's a great artist out of Manhattan. She's done collaborations on generative AI art for ages.
Yeah.
And the beautiful images that she comes up with a combination of often just 2 brands that haven't paid her. She's actually just doing it as a mock-up. One time I saw like Adidas and BMW, and then another time she'll have put shells and masquerade or something.
Right,
but just to fill out the volume and to fill out the imagery, and then to have also sort of strategized around which brands might go well together, and then which theme or which concept might go together. I just think you couldn't afford to have a creative team to put those drafts together.
No.
And then also, I remember hearing the All In podcast over a year or more ago, and Freeberg was talking about how a year or 2 back they would never have been able to do a research study on whether they could grow under the water. But now he could set AIs to do this quick cost analysis as to whether it would be fortuitous to do some ag underwater. I love hearing those examples because it's not straightforward as to whether AI is good or bad. It's actually nuanced.
And it is a lot about how you use it, and for the people using it in their work, the kind of checks and balances they're employing to be able to use it well.
I still so warmly remember the lunch that we had 10 years ago, and still the warmth is there and the connections there.
That's right. Well, it's been fun, talking about all this. I mean, it's the first actual proper conversation where things are getting a bit clearer.
I really love that for you. Yeah. Maybe there's a lot of people that are either going through transition now, April, or will go through transition in the next little while. It's so great that you had some tips to be able to pass on things like human design or getting to know style. And what do we say? 3rd, 4th, 5th act. There's different acts in life and different adventures to have and different personal branding challenges that come up.
Yeah, that's right. There might be more to come after this phase.
Absolutely. When you transitioning in careers, meeting with people, having coffees, or just seeing examples to be able to grow into the imagination of what a future vision might be like is helpful too, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I thought I might have wanted to do agency. I had a lot of coffees with people who are ex-agency. They kind of thought, given my operational background, maybe group account director would be a good role to try and step into in agency land. So I flirted with that idea for a while. But then, the more people I spoke to in that realm, the more it just seemed to be about lead gen and creating Facebook ads. And I was like, well, I'm not into that. So that was a bit of a research project. And I think when you have that that sort of transition and you're unclear, you have to have a lot of coffees with people just to rule out some things.
I remember years ago I was in transition and I ended up by talking to this business strategist who ran an agency and was really successful, and he'd been a pilot, and it really sort of sticks in my mind.
Right, yeah.
He'd been a pilot up until he was, 30, and then he moved into business strategy agency work, and he was very empowered around that. Thank you so very much for your time.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It was fun.
Thanks for listening to the Natural Genius podcast. Please share this with anyone who came to mind and visit us at naturalgenius.com.au. Thanks so much.